Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dr. Alyssa Adams, and I'm the Director of Executive Coaching with Team Performance Institute. And today I am joined by the wonderful Joe Peoples. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Joe.
Well, uh, well, well, I hail from the great state of Michigan. We had the good fortune of our local football team, the U of M football team, winning a national championship. That was fun.
Mhm.
I've lived here for my entire life. Um, I've spent most of my professional life working in the world of real estate. I've worked as a broker, I've worked as a broker manager, an agent, and I've spent the last 8 years in the space of like coaching and people development.
Wonderful. I'm so excited to have you here and to tap into your wisdom. And it's also just really cool as you watch some of these videos with different TPI coaches to see how we all come from such different backgrounds. So we all bring this kind of different energy and different knowledge and expertise to what we do. So today we're going to kind of tap into Joe's knowledge. And I'm going to start you off with a big question for today, right?
Okay?
What does it mean to lead from behind?
It's you do it all the time, but you may not put a label on it. Um, I had the good fortune of going through some training around leadership where I was introduced to this idea of multi-dimensional leadership.
Mm.
And that, leadership, whether your role as a leader can change depending on the circumstance. And then an example would be this year I'm going to participate in the Distinguished Gentleman's Motorcycle Ride. And the reason I'm doing it is one, I love riding motorcycles anyway, so any excuse to ride's a great one. But that next layer deeper is ride is for men's mental health and prostate cancer. And I've had the unfortunate situation where a really good friend of mine currently has stage 4 prostate cancer and he's going through treatment. And another friend of mine was lucky to actually have it identified early and has, recovered from his prostate situation. So when I think about the idea of leading from behind, it is so easy to get on board and participate in the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride because the ride represents something that matters to me, something I want to participate with and something I want to contribute. And so when we think about leadership from behind, it's this active choice to sacrifice your time and your talents to edify or to make something bigger than yourself more alive. So that's the idea about leadership from behind.
Yeah, that's really beautifully said, Joe. And what do people need to do? Like, what are the skills that you really need to be able to lead from behind?
Yeah, I mean, the very first skill, I would describe it as, I feel like it's a big building block, is to have a purpose or something you're interested in. So when you
Mhm.
think of working with an executive, or if I'm working with an entrepreneur in real estate, you know, that essence of what they want to create or vision for the life experience they want to have plays a big role in your ability to lead from behind. Um, and I mentioned I'm doing 75 hard as part of
Mhm.
this year's challenge. They have this other thing where you read 10 pages of a book every day.
Oh,
And
cool.
I had just completed reading Peter Attia's book, The Strategy of Longevity. And and I got some more days left, so I started reading Ryan Holiday's book, Ego is the Enemy.
Mm.
And one of the key points in there is to achieve something and not let your ego dominate it. It's you have to be able to serve something else bigger than yourself.
Mm.
So when you
Mm.
think of the first skill, I'm just saying this: the idea that there's something you want to serve, some contribution you want to give, is a key part of leadership from behind.
Mm.
Because whether you are you're going to start something yourself, or whether you're going to join a thing, the key element is really about that purpose, that sense of something you want to contribute to.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. So just to extend that, because I think that's such a powerful, like central to your life, in addition to leadership kind of concept, how would you help people uncover that? How would you suggest that people start to uncover that idea of what is my purpose, or what are the things that really I feel like I want to help contribute to, or I want to serve in what way? How do you start that journey for people?
Well, you could start it big, like, okay, this is it. This is my purpose for forever. And it'll be the only purpose I ever have for. Okay, you can start it that way. Or you could be really simple and just focus on, like, where am I at the next 60, 90 days? It could be how we want the purpose around our career. I had a conversation with a client, and one of the things was around, like, resolving their role and contribution as their positions change throughout their career. And being able to find a way to bring to life the things that matter. And most people want to contribute. So when you asked me the question about, like, bigger purpose, let's just be simple. We all feel better when we can contribute to something, when we can see that the fruits of our labor provided some value for someone or something. And so the place to look is, like, how do I contribute from where I am today?
Yeah.
And what resources can I bring to bear? And so when you think of those skills, it's really about just knowing there's being a human, you want to contribute.
Yeah. I love that. That's so well said, Joe. And to me, what stands out is, like, you can do this at any phase in your professional journey, right? Like, it sounds like asking that question of yourself at this stage in the game, at this level of growth. What do I have accessible to me to contribute? What can I contribute? And then maybe in a few years or however long, maybe you're in a different space in your life, maybe you're in a different role. What now can I contribute? And maybe it's a really fluid process or an evolving process around what you can contribute at any given time.
Oh, so true. Well, like, if you're an executive and you're the head of a department or a division, and I don't know, whatever, you got promoted to the CEO, the COO, now you have to leave your division.
Yeah.
One of the roles of developing people is your ability to lead from behind for them also.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things we've trained about it on is we call it guarding and guardrails. Your ability to create a framework for people to work within as a leader. Now you can practice leading from behind, and you can take a look at how well and observe from behind is this event happening, unfolding in front of me. And then skills you would practice, even though you may have created the environment, now you have a chance to practice the skills of championing a person, to be able to witness them bring to life the plan you had created. They were committed because it created an opportunity for them. There's also that opportunity to acknowledge them, in terms of acknowledgement, not from the standpoint of praising work being done, but when you're developing people, you want to acknowledge their character. You want to acknowledge how they've shown up and how this value is being expressed in their contribution and ownership of whatever has been given to them.
Yeah. And I hear, just to kind of extend that too, is for the leader to be able to understand someone's character and their values, right? To be able to ask those questions, to really understand who it is that they might be choosing to champion, or that they might be wanting to help grow or help foster their development in some way, but, like, letting that guard come down enough to really connect with the other person and to understand who they really are. So I really appreciate that you bring that up as a key element.
Yeah, it's you ever hear the phrase, servant leadership? And so how about serving leadership? A servant, I might have the vocabulary off a bit, but a servant doesn't always have their same choices as someone choosing to serve.
Yeah.
So having that joy of serving means you're paying attention to something different.
Yeah.
When you are serving, you're focused on the fulfillment of, like, an outcome, an objective, experience. And so that is being a contributor, but not so much being in the limelight. So you could be the leader and you could be serving the people around you in a way that allows them to grow and develop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Vice versa, you could also be the person hired to, uh, count the widgets. And you can be really committed to counting the widgets because you've joined an organization or a group that matters. I think about my first opportunity out of college. I worked for Unisys and was hired on their tech support, supporting Novell NetWare 286. And I knew nothing about it, but what I did know is I wanted to join a technology company. I had the desire and the interest to learn more about computers and their application in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't so much that I had to be the boss.
Yeah.
I needed the opportunity to contribute to that organization because the mission of that company at the time matched, my own purpose of where I was at. And so I was able to be a leader from behind by fulfilling the role as the 24-hour tech support person who had computer problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So great. Such a great example, Joe, too. And what I'm reflecting on as you're talking too is this idea of really knowing yourself well, right? Like knowing your own values, knowing your own mission, knowing like what you're interested in, what you want next for yourself, but like asking these hard questions of yourself. Because as you're giving that example, I'm thinking, wow, like that's such a deep understanding to possess of yourself at that time. And, to be able to do that at different phases in your leadership journey as well.
Okay, I was 23,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just like many young people, you're just hungry for possibility.
Yeah.
You're just hungry. So sometimes, just off the intuition, the natural energy of living creates momentum. But you talked about, asking hard questions, and another skill for being practicing leadership from behind is powerful questions. And I remember this being introduced going through like coach training, and it seemed so daunting. But asking powerful questions is really about mastering like the interrogatives, but putting them in place and where you can ask an interrogative question, who, what, where, and just ask contrast about it. You can ask time and place questions. And then when you can start to ask more questions and not challenge, but be curious, you can get better feedback for yourself, and you can help other people think more clearly. As I'm a parent with adult children, and so my wife and I were on a walk, and I said, I have this new game I'm going to talk to the kids about, see if they want to play. And the game will be, they get to do all the talking, and the only thing I can do is ask questions, offer no. And why I bring it up is because if you can get in a conversation with someone and they give you permission to ask questions, you help them think, you help them create clarity, and you also get into their mind and you get to see the world from a different perspective.
So well said, Joe. I feel like there's so many nuggets of the things that you just shared that are really powerful on their own. And we look forward to your new book coming out called Serving Leadership at some point, right? Maybe we'll state that here and commit to that future reality. But is there anything that you want to share with our listeners before we wrap up today?
Well, the other part, and this is one other skill around, leading from behind, is anticipation. Often when someone's looking to hire someone to be a part of a group, being a part of a team, you need them to embody whatever the mission is, but they have to have this presence to be looking ahead as to what's next. And that the coaching triangle where you have the coach, the coachee at the bottom, and at the top is the problem. And so when the leader is looking forward to a destination, they've created this clarity of where it's going. What every leader needs from someone from behind is to be looking at the leader and looking at the problem and being aware of, like, okay, what's happening, and to be almost prepared to anticipate what the needs are next or to be thoughtful enough. And so that would be the other thought to just put out there around leading from behind. It's that powerful questions, wanting to serve, coming from a place of contribution, you know, and ownership. And the part of ownership with leading from behind is a choice, not a passive event. It's an intentional thing you're doing to say, I'm going to step out of the limelight. I'm going to focus completely on contributing and supporting an individual, supporting an organizational mission, but it's an intentional act.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. What a great place to leave on, right? What a great seed to plant for everyone. So thank you so much for being here with us, Joe, and for sharing your thoughts and your wisdom. And if you've listened to this video, please feel free to share in the comments what really stood out to you, or what really landed for you, or anything that surprised you. And we'll have a good discussion on there. And if you're interested in learning more about our coaching services or any other services that we have at Team Performance Institute, hop over to teamperformanceinstitute.com and you'll see all the wonderful things that we do. And thank you for listening. And thanks, Joe, for being here.
You're welcome.